For the Ole Miss Rebels facing Cagle, first pitch at home this season, and it's fouled away.
Big crowd showed up today, Pete.
Great turnout. Folks started coming in midway through the previous game, Miami and UConn.
The two Knowles have filled up nicely.
Great facility, and in visiting with the Tigers head coach John Rittman before the ball game, just amazing what he has been able to build as a program. The facility they built for him, which he and his coaches had input in. And foul ball.
Yep, rule foul.
In foul territory before Tigers third baseman Alex Brown.
And remember the rule, it's where the ball is, not where the fielder is.
So the count remains 0-2 on Lassiter.
Ole Miss, I got a peek at them last weekend, and they have got a very nice ball club.
Team that's made 7 consecutive NCAA tournaments.
Yeah, they're not an accident, I can tell you that. Very well coached.
32 wins a year ago. They're picked 12th in the 13-team SEC. However,
don't let that fool you.
That's like being picked in the top 3 in most other conferences.
Yeah,
because of the depth of that conference.
And I would almost venture to say they will not finish 13th. They'll probably finish a little higher.
Swing and a miss.
Took a little something off of it and went up in the zone.
22nd strikeout this season registered by Cagle.
Yep. If you see this pitch right, you see how it just kind of floated up.
Left fielder number 6, Jacob Hall.
The greatest thing about the start of a season is, as a rule, usually most, if not all, your players are healthy. And I know that Valerie Cagle is excited about having Abby Vieira back and healthy behind the plate. The catcher means so much to your pitcher. And Vieira just suffered a banged up 2023. I mean, she seemed like she was playing hurt every game.
Pone running into one foul, and again Cagle ahead in a batter 0-2. Pone probably looks forward to this trip. She's originally from just outside of Charlotte, Hope Mills, North Carolina. She came to them from Longwood, which is up in central Virginia, so about as close as she'll get to home this season in an Ole Miss uniform.
Yeah. Of course, the way the changes in conference alignment, you don't know by the end of the season, Virginia may be.
That's right, they may move
the whole state.
Absolutely. Did she go? No, says our third base umpire. Manning third today.
Yeah.
Christopher Tahanika.
Now, those of you who have watched broadcasts from McWhorter Stadium know that there's a pocket of about 45 umpires right behind home plate. And they are quick to let you know how they feel as you see the 1-3 put out.
Easy enough, 2 up and 2 down for Cagle. An Ole Miss team that came into this weekend 9-1, again their best start. Of course, able to register an earlier victory today against UConn, so they're sitting at 10-1 already with a game under their belt on this Friday. Pete Smith, their first baseman, looking at pitch on the outer edge for strike 1.
And that's confidence right there. She's a hard thrower, but led off the at bat with a changeup.
Ripped over toward the Ole Miss dugout, not far from the head coach in the third base coach's box, Jamie Traxel.
When Cagle throws you a changeup, when she comes behind it with her hard stuff, it looks like it's coming in at 1,000 miles an hour. And as you just see right there, very late on it.
Took something off. And very tough pitcher to face, 5'10" senior.
This will be her biggest test so far of the year, though, by far.
Out of Wardsville, Missouri. Alex Brown showing bunt, lays off. North Carolina transfer for the Tigers, great speed, and she has assumed the leadoff role from Mackenzie Johnson, who they dropped down to second.
Yep. By dropping Mackenzie Clark down in the 2-hole, she has a chance to score runs several different ways. She can hit the ball out of the park, she can bunt it, she can run. So having somebody like Brown ahead of her is a big boost to this lineup.
Count evens at 1-1. Mackenzie Clark, you see her waiting on deck, and perhaps the power will lead to more runs batted in, and you can add to the power that the likes of Cagle, Noller has shown so far.
Well, Clark can hit the ball out of the park anywhere. She can go opposite field. She can go to the line, and she's very good at going gap to gap.
Other way, just foul. So 1-2 the count. Brown from Savannah, Georgia. Fine player at North Carolina. She was a second-team All-ACC performer a year ago.
Yep. And she came in and filled a need. Very fine defensive player, Reedy Davenport, played third base last year for the Tigers. She's now gone, and it was fortuitous that Brown was able to step in.
1-2. Lined into center field. First hit of the game. And the Tigers, the leadoff batter on here in the home first.
And this right here creates all sorts of problems for the defense because Alex Brown has got speed enough to steal a base on her own. You've got a kid in the batter's box now, and Mackenzie Clark, who can not only sack butt, but she can put a butt down and beat it out. So there's going to be all sorts of pressure applied on this infield right now. And oh, by the way, if he chooses to, Coach Rittman could just let her stand in there and rip and say, see what you can do.
Clark at .296 on the season. A couple of home runs, 5 batted in. 0-for-3 in Wednesday's win at Charlotte. Chopped to short. Second one. On to first. Nicely done by Ryan Starr. 6-3 on the double play and quickly 2 down on the Tigers first.
If you're the pitcher, you could not order that up any better. Hit directly to the shortstop, who was shading toward the bag. All she had to do was take 2 steps, step on the bag, make the throw, and there's 2 outs just like that.
So Clark rounding into the double play. Second time this season. Cagle, the pitcher, hitting in the 3-hole for John Rittman's Tigers.
And there's no mystery as to what she can do with the bat. She's in there to hit it very, very hard.
Stays outside, 1-1. The day begins with Cagle hitting .379, a homer and 3 batted in. Of course, the National Player of the Year a season ago. 2-time ACC Player of the Year.
The phrase generational talent is not out of line when you describe her.
So the Thermos taking something off. And the 1-2. Count evening up.
Yeah. You don't want to nibble too much with Cagle because you got ahead in the count. That pitch was well out of the zone, seeing that they could get her to chase one. But right here's the pitch that the Rebels want to make something happen on right here. They don't want to go 3-2 with her.
And here comes the 2-2. The Thermos and on to first. Tigers had a leadoff single. Double play taking care of that. Through 1. A scoreless game.
8.2 ERA going up against another pitcher who's got a lifetime record of just outstanding softball with a 1.5 in Valerie Cagle. Cagle is a known commodity, not only locally, regionally, but nationally. But Thermos is a very, very good pitcher.
Didn't mean to. Lexi Brady finds herself in an 0-2 hole. Cagle a couple of strikeouts in the top half of the first inning. She retired the side in order.
Pete, I hope I'm saying that name right. It is Clethermos, right?
Clethermos, yeah. I'm thinking on the back end, you know, what you used to have in your lunchbox.
Yeah, sure.
You know. And then Clee, not Glee. 3 strikeouts of the first 4 batters that Valerie Cagle has faced so far this afternoon.
She is really mixing up her speeds a lot here in the early going. This is something new as far as her being able to rule out. That was that off-speed drop ball. It just falls off the table. If she gets that going, it's going to be a long day for anybody she's facing.
Chopper foul. Delaney Rummel second on their team in hitting coming into the weekend at .483. Hails from the state of Illinois. Transferred from the University of Illinois.
Yeah.
She was All Big Ten defensive performer a year ago. And once again, Cagle in front of a hitter, 0-2.
It's really interesting to watch the warm weather versus cold weather element now in terms of the teams playing. Basically, the game before this one, you see Cagle
going to be a tough play, and she got her by a step.
But that right there is a luxury, ladies and gentlemen. When you've got a pitcher that can field her position and make a throw like a third baseman, that is unbelievable. Both of these teams have great defensive pitchers to go along with nice arms, and that was a hard play to make right there.
Ainsley Furbush, who plays some shortstop for the Rebels, their designated player today. Caught the outside corner for strike one. John West, our home plate umpire. Not a whole lot from their home state of Mississippi on the Ole Miss roster.
Well, it's, you know, Mississippi is not really a highly populous state, and they don't play a lot of, I guess, higher level softball, perhaps, though it's getting much better. And so the people at Oxford and Starkville, they have to go other places. As you see, strike three right there. If the batter fails to be in the batter's box inside of 10 seconds, they can be assessed a strike. So it's something that they're doing to try to, you know, speed up the game. And I'll let you introduce everybody to this young, talented freshman right here in the batter's box.
Well, we've already talked about her. Julia Noller, mentioned her in our open. Her first time at the plate in her new home ballpark in this home opener for the Clemson team in 2024. And Thermos delivering outside. So you've got the senior in the circle for Ole Miss against the freshman from Fort Myers, Florida. Great hotbed of softball talent.
All of Florida is a great place to go to see good softball.
1-1 on the infield. Shortstop or second baseman. It'll be Starr putting it away for out number one.
Anything hit that high is not going to be a gimme today because of that wind. But the shortstop did a very fine job of staying with it, getting under it and making the play.
Maddie Moore had a good game last time out for the Tigers in Charlotte. 2 for 4 on Wednesday with a homer and 3 batted in. Clemson coming away with the 8-5 win against the 49ers. And she takes low for ball one.
Moore in her freshman year played third base for the Tigers, and she really battled it over there a little bit and was not as consistent as she wanted to be. But when they moved her to second base a year ago, it's just like she really found out she was at home, and she really took off.
Hard shot right into the netting.
Yeah.
Clemson dugout.
I really enjoy watching her, how she goes about the game. She's animated. She, I think, is somebody that the rest of the dugout feeds off of. And she's a very, very, very good college softball player. I'm a fan of Maddie Moore's.
Tigers second baseman. Long way from home. She's from Loomis, California. And a swing and a miss. Count goes 1-2.
And she thought she should have had that one. She's a little mad at herself about missing that one. Let's see if Thermos does something a little off speed here.
Thermos looking for her first strikeout.
Yep.
It's outside.
Change up outside. Tried to get her to chase.
Here's a 2-2 pitch. Starr diving attempt. And Clemson has a one-out base runner.
That's got to go as a hit, I would think. That ball was hit very, very sharply. It did go off the glove of the shortstop, as you'll see right there. But no damage done with the ball getting away from her. But I thought she did a good job of getting the glove on the ball to smother it.
One-out base runner. They do score to hit, the second so far for the Tigers. It's the senior McKenna Thermos, second season with the Ole Miss program. She transferred there from Oregon. Runner on the move, throw down, hop, tag, safe. Moore's 2 for 3 on the season in stolen bases.
That's something that she can do. The catcher, Brady, did a good job of getting rid of it, but she one-hopped it down there, and that allowed Maddie Moore to get under it. And now they got it for the first time today. Clemson's got a runner in scoring position.
Something we talked about in the open. That's an area where John Rittman really feels like they could have been better over their first roughly 10 games.
Yeah, we got 2 shots now to get a knock to get a runner in from scoring position.
Abby Vieira, the catcher, 1-1 on the Tiger backstop. Junior out of Mission Viejo, California.
I really like watching her play the position of catcher. She is a very good framer, nice presence behind the plate, and she can also hit it very well too.
Good opportunity for her first RBI of the season right here. And the count goes 1-2.
It's going to be much more difficult to hit an RBI with a ball bouncing. I'm sure she probably wishes she had not offered it that one.
Moore good speed at second. Vieira hitting .211 over the first 9 games.
She'll warm up.
And that's lined into right field for a base hit. McKay up with it. Runner wave, throw to the plate. Safe. Brady couldn't hang on to the ball. Vieira heads into second, and the Tigers have the 1-0 lead.
Yep, that's going to go as a single and an RBI. Very good aggressive base running. If you've ever watched John Rittman coach, you know he's going to do that. Vieira did a great job of driving that ball to right center field. I knew that they would try to score, Morgan. I think if the catcher holds onto the ball, she may have been out.
Throw definitely beat her.
Yeah. I don't know if we'll get another look at it, but the throw beat the runner, but the catcher just didn't manage to hang on to it. You'll see here, Brady, well, we'll maybe get it in a minute.
So Vieira at second. Lindsey Garcia, Tigers right fielder. Take another look at the play at the plate. We'll do that in one moment. Man, there's the, we saw the shot into right.
With that pitch clock, you have to.
I was going to say, you gotta keep going. Transfer from Auburn, so she's seen Ole Miss before. In fact, head coach of the Rebels, Jamie Traxel, noting that she had some big hits against them in the past.
Yep. Another Florida native.
Out of Coral Springs. Grad transfer in her first season with the Tigers. Hit .280 a year ago for the Tigers down on the plains at Auburn. She's ahead in the count 2-1. Tigers still with 1 away and another runner in scoring position. Popped up on the left side. Let's see if it stays in play for Rummel. It'll get on top of the Ole Miss dugout.
Top of the dugout, bounced into the stands, and we've got our first fan era of the game.
Bobbled there off.
Gentleman had a great chance to have a souvenir. Went right off his hands and fell down into the rope in front of him. Make a note of that, would you?
Ole Miss squad that's already seen an ACC team this year. Last weekend they knocked off the Pitt Panthers. A 2-1 victory for them. That was an event at Kennesaw, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta.
As I said, I got a peek last weekend of Ole Miss, and they're a very capable bunch. That's what made me really eager for today's game, because Clemson needs to play tests like this if they're going to try to do some of the lofty things they're going to do. And this is great for Ole Miss to enhance their resume when it comes postseason time selection.
Garcia staying alive on the 3-2 pitch. They actually got 2 wins against the Panthers. Faced him last Friday as well, knocked him off 11-0 in 5. Then they played him on the back end of the weekend. That was an event that also included Kennesaw State and ETSU. Prior to that, they were at an event in Hawaii. They had a nightmare travel back from the islands. Looks like it hit her. And it'll be first and second now, still with just one away.
I think that got her right on the foot.
Garcia hit by a pitch for the third time this season.
Right on the inside of the right foot. And I know she's way too much of a fine person to say the words that she's thinking right now, because that hurts.
First batter hit this year by Clemson. And she finds herself already with a run in the bottom half of the second inning for Clemson. Tigers with now runners on first and second, and still just one away.
Pete, when you sit down every morning and make a list of things you hope happens in a day, getting hit in the foot with a thrown ball about 65 miles an hour is not on that list.
Especially with temps getting closer to the 50s and then to the 60s as the afternoon goes on.
Yeah. That is no fun at all.
Quick visit to the mound. The Thermos, told you, ERA below 1, 0.82, 25 2/3 innings. That was coming into the weekend.
Well, this is somebody who has a lot of experience playing in the orange, Aaliyah Logaleo, and they really need her to start driving in some runs. She's hitting .292 right now, but they want to see her drive in some runs.
And the Tigers shortstop, first pitch swinging, fouls it away, and facing a pitcher who opponents were hitting 167 against Lee Thermos over her first 4 appearances this year, 4-0 in the season, but she's already allowed 3 hits and a run.
Yep.
The Tigers may have a big inning brewing here in the second.
Logaleo 7 for 24 in the year, but only 3 RBI. And that's not like her. And she's just like Vieira. She'll get going.
3-time All-ACC performer at the plate. And the 0-1 pitch. Center field, pretty well hit. Lassiter back on the warning track, pulls it in. Runners will advance. Tigers will have them on second and third with 2 away as that ball got away, but the Thermos backing up.
Well, there the wind right there had a lot to do with that ball staying in the ballpark. It was not a line drive. It had a lot of air under it, but I promise you that ball hit the exact same way in April leaves the ballpark.
So Logaleo flirting with a second homer on the season. At least a productive at bat, though, moving up the runners. Ariel Oda went deep against Charlotte in Wednesday's win, a second inning 2-run homer.
And I've had the luxury of calling a lot of Clemson games since they started the program, and Ariel Oda is one of my favorite players because she's an unsung hero. She just finds a way to be in the batting order, and she's come up with big hits for the Tigers over the years.
One of 2 original members of the Clemson roster before they were even playing games when John Whitman first got here.
Right.
She and her high school teammate, as it turns out, JoJo Hyatt, both from Beaufort, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta.
Right down the interstate.
They've been playing baseball together for roughly a decade, softball together for roughly a decade.
How about
Think
that?
about it. 9th place hitter in the Clemson lineup, an opportunity to cash in big here. Runners on second and third with 2 away.
And Beaufort is a high school that it just is a factory for baseball and softball players and football players, by the way.
They had a girls basketball team have a run of 4 straight state titles.
Right.
Yeah, that's one of the really oncoming high schools in the Atlanta area. Left side, another opportunity for Starr. High throw. Took the first baseman off the bag. 1 run scores. And then the throw back will be late as Garcia gets into third.
It's going to be interesting to see how they score that. A good throw gets it. I think a good throw gets her.
Pete Smith looks like she came down with a tag. Take another look.
Let's see. Given a compliment, or if I've just been insulted again.
Top of the order, Alex Brown reached on a single, then was erased on a double play. Her first time up in the first inning. It was an error on the shortstop Starr. So no RBI in the play. But first and third now with 2 outs. And Brown, roller right side. No trouble at all for Smith. And that'll do it for the Tigers in the 6 up and 6 down so far for Valerie Cagle.
Attendance has never been a problem for the Tiger softball program, and they're usually treated as an exciting brand of softball. And right now, Cagle is really doing a great job. She's off to a very good start, but we're going to start seeing the lineup flip over next time, and we'll see how they handle it, you know, the second time through the batting order.
Jamie McKay, the right fielder, the first batter that Cagle's fallen behind 2-0 against in the early going.
Yeah, McKay's hitting .556.
2-1 the count.
She's started 7 games, but she's 10 for 18.
Also plays catcher. Has a homer and 3 batted in. And the count goes 3-1. Third base, Brown can't handle it.
Yep.
First base runner for the Ole Miss team.
She booted that right off the bat. If you watch her, she takes her head out of the plate very early here. She's got to keep her head in on that. And I saw it when it was live. I mean, it made her kind of flinch a little bit. And she will get an error on that play. And I think that's justifiable.
Teams now even in that category. Angelina De Leon looking to move the runner up.
Now you see right here is an example of Ole Miss trying to play some ABC softball right here. Got the 8-hole hitter up there, you know, only hitting 130 on the year, but the coach is asking her, help your team, you know, make an out but move the runner. Let's see if it stays on.
Just like McKay at first. De Leon from California.
Yeah. The one thing I would do differently if I was calling the game, or if I was the bunter, if you saw she was trying to wait a little bit late to get the bunt down, I'd just go ahead and show, hey, I'm bunting. I'm trying to get them to get me out where I can get that runner down to second base. I mean, the name of the game right now is get McKay to second base. De Leon, you know, they needed her to make an out right there. A productive out, as you said earlier, when Clemson was hitting.
Swing and a miss. Cagle again taking something off. That's the 5th strikeout so far.
That is a missed opportunity right there. You know, I hate to use the word wasted at bat, but it was. So much different now hitting with 1 out and a runner on first with the number 9 hitter, Ryan Starr, than hitting with a runner out at second base. Much different mindset for the infield.
9th place hitter in the lineup for Ole Miss. Taking a ball, trying to make amends for that throw, which would have gotten them out of the Tigers' 2nd inning with just 1 run in.
Yes.
Starr 3 batted in on the season. Transferred from Syracuse, so she's faced the Tigers before. Another good addition by way of the transfer portal. Native of New York City.
Wow. She probably doesn't know what to do with being able to not to have to wear a jacket in February and March.
Well, she plays for coaches from Duluth, Minnesota initially, so any cool air she runs into in this neck of the woods feels like a warm day.
Oh, yeah. Now, we were talking to the coach of Mississippi before the game, and she was talking about, man, this weather's great. She's done an excellent job since coming to Oxford.
Extended their run of NCAA tourney trips. Fouled away. Count stays 1-2. You see her, Jamie Traxel, who, by the way, is no relation to the former Major League pitcher Steve Traxel. That was one of the first questions I asked her.
Yeah, but Coach Traxel's got a great pedigree. I mean, she got into coaching.
I'll let anyone read into the double entendre as they choose. We'll just say they have a lot of ice storms there with bad weather. Swing and a miss made her look bad in the process. Yeah. 2nd straight strikeout. Now 2 away in the inning after the leadoff batter reached on the error. Cagle racking up the strikeouts. That's her 6th. Top of the order, Jayla Lassiter, who went down swinging to lead off the game, and a liner into right center field. Runner will make the turn, and heading over to third, McKay, and they've got him on the corners with 2 outs here in the 3rd inning.
And we talked about when the batting order flips over, and you saw the leadoff hitter right there. She didn't take a pitch or anything like that. She just drove that ball. And also, I want to go back and make the point. If De Leon gets the bunt down, it's a 2-1 ball game now.
Yep.
So that's the little things that you have to look for. Let's see if they start the runner here at first base.
First hit against Cagle by Ole Miss, Jaden Page. Takes low for, or Jaden Pone rather, taking low for ball 1. Their top hitter off to a great start after transferring in from Longwood.
And Lassiter out at first base and Pone combined are 10 for 10 in stolen base attempts. That's why I was thinking they may get Lassiter started here. 2-0 count. You got a hitter's count coming up right here. So if you're going to run, it's a good time to run.
Lassiter at first, 6 for 6 on stolen base tries, including a swipe against UConn. Delayed call by the home plate umpire, and it's a strike.
Okay, the hitting play is 5-2, whatever that is. Their new signaling system that's taken over the game now.
Runner from first on the move. Ball gets away, and the Ole Miss Rebels will get a run out of it. Sprinting home, McKay from third on the low throw to second.
Yep.
That's where Lassiter stands.
Just as we saw in the previous half inning, the catcher making a short hop throw to the second baseman allowed runners to get in at second base, and unfortunately for the Tigers of Clemson, allowed a run to score.
See if they ruled a throwing error on the catcher Vieira to allow the run to score. So now runner on second with 2 away.
Well, we know it.
Ball 4.
I'm sorry for stepping on you. We know for sure that it was a stolen base because she was going. You can't assume the put out, but I think there is a great argument that an error could be tacked onto it to allowing the run to score, because the runner did not immediately break for third base.
That has not happened. So Paige Smith, the first baseman, went down swinging her first time up. Chopped to third. Brown on 1 hop. On to first. Rebels strand 2, but they get it.
Coach John Rittman very, very openly talking about wants to clean up that defense, and a throw that got away from the shortstop on the stolen base led to a run scoring, and they did assess an error.
Mackenzie Clark grounding into a 6-3 double play in the home first after Alex Brown had led things off with a single. Tigers senior out of Mayaca City, Florida, played at Lakewood Ranch High, and a 5-tool player, says her head coach John Rittman.
Absolutely a 5-tool player. And when she gets going, when she gets on one of her hot streaks, it is amazing to watch her.
Mile high, and it'll get out of play.
There's a nice play. This gentleman stands over.
Is that the same guy who blundered the first one?
No, it's not. But he just took his arm right over the top of this young woman and took the ball from him. And now I think he's handed it off, though.
So
to
he's doing the noble thing.
He handed it off to a youngster, so we won't be mad.
So he was able to atone.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Clark awaits an 0-2 pitch.
And maybe his family, actually.
Little looper. Gonna get down in front of the center fielder Lassiter.
Yeah. That's what she does very well. She can get on base so many different ways, and I really think that I know that 2 years ago we would have seen her running right now. We'll see what we do now with nobody out starting the inning. We know we're not bunting Cagle, right?
Got to think green light for Cagle. Clark at first, 1 for 1 in stolen bases.
Yeah, the 2-3-4 hitter at Clemson probably will not have any bunts this year. Well, the 2-hitter may.
First pitch swinging, chopped to second. De Leon only played to first. Moves Clark to second base with one away, so the Tigers have another runner in scoring position.
Now, as you alluded to earlier today about having a productive at bat. Now that will not go down as a sacrifice. That's a 4-3 put out. But Clemson Tigers have got a runner in scoring position. Now they've got 2 knocks to get that run back.
Logaleo had a productive at bat for the Tigers in the second one. She hit that ball to the warning track and center to move the runners up. Julia Noller, the freshman first baseman, popping out to shortstop in her first ever appearance in a game in the regular season here at McWhorter Stadium. Freshman out of Fort Myers. Checked her swing for ball 1. Noller, a first home run in her first Clemson plate appearance, and the Tigers open her down at that event in Clearwater, Florida.
Don't you know that had to be a hoot for her, don't you?
Think about that. The
yeah.
first time on the major college level facing, a quality opponent, and you take it out of the park.
Yeah, when you get back to the dugout, you announce you're going pro. I mean, you've done everything you can do.
And she ended up with 2 home runs in her very first college game.
Yeah.
That's going to get fouled down the left side.
She is a tremendous hitting prospect. Recruiting is the backbone of any program in collegiate sports, and the one thing the Clemson Tigers have done a very good job of, their entire staff, is going out and finding good players. If you want to be a good coach, get yourself to some good players.
That usually works out pretty well.
It sure does.
2-1 the count on the Tigers' first baseman. Grounded right back and on to first with the throw. Clethermus. Clark moves to third, stands there with 2 away.
Clark was very much a veteran right there. She held her ground, and then as soon as the pitcher turned her back to her, and Clethermus committed to going to first base, she got on over there to third base. And now she can score in a lot of different ways now from right there. So each of the hitters that have made outs has moved the runner.
Maddie Moore scored on the RBI single by Vieira for the first Tigers run in the second inning. After getting one of 4 Clemson hits so far in the contest.
Moore hitting .296 right now.
Chance to get a runner in with 2 away. And once again, a runner in scoring position situation for the Clemson team. Moore with 8 batted in so far in the season, second on the squad.
And for both of these teams, when you've only played 9 or 10 games, the season is in its infancy, and the stats are going to deceive you. I mean, in terms of batting averages and things like that. But the coaches are keeping an eye on who's having quality at bats and who's not having quality at bats, and that's what you really want to look at. The stats will become significant probably somewhere around the 20-25 game mark.
3-0 the count. Gotta wonder if Clethermus might be working around her with first base open.
Yep, you're correct. That pitch right there just told you.
The old unintentional intentional. First and third with 2 away. Vieira, RBI single in the second. Now not. Conversation done. Vieira began the day hitting .211, but as we noted, she was able to drive home her first run of the season with that second inning RBI single to right. Clark the runner at third, Moore at first. Outside for ball 1.
Now this is something you can't do if you're the battery, is get distracted by the runner at first base. Right now you want to get Vieira out. I mean, you don't want Moore to steal second base, but this should not be like a thing that you just worry yourself into a double.
That'll get out of play.
Up another drop ball. It's early in the season, but we had another drop ball by a fan. This is a growing concern.
As they say, it's February for the fans too.
Yeah, but this is a growing trend here. We may have to have the fans come in an hour early tomorrow. We're working on it. We hit some balls out over the backstop to them.
Tigers 2-4-2. Ole Miss a run, a hit, and an error of their own. So they did go ahead and rule an error on the throw to second that allowed the run to score at the top half of the third inning.
Correct. I'm glad to see Thermos settle down and go right at the hitter now.
One strike away from working out of this third inning jam unscathed.
But this is a dangerous hitter. You have to give her attention.
And the 1-2 pitch. Count will stay that way. Vieira 0 for 3 earlier in the week in the win at Charlotte. A couple of seasons ago was an all ACC freshman performer.
Played all of last year hurt. Practically all of last year banged up.
Two and two the count. Looks like the catcher Brady thought the Tigers might have something on the way she popped up.
She did. But Moore has not shown any intention of running so far.
We're swiping a bag in the second inning to get in scoring position for Vieira. 2-2 pitch. And Vieira does a nice job to stay alive.
Moore was going there. Vieira doing a very good job of battling it off. Of course, you don't know how this is going to end up, but so many times when a hitter fouls off a bunch of pitches, they end up getting that base hit because they're seeing the pitch. They're seeing more and more of the pitcher.
Seventh pitch of the at bat to Abby Vieira, the junior catcher for the Tigers. Able to lay off, and the count goes full.
Well, I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going out on a limb here. Moore's going to be going.
I think that's a pretty safe assumption there. That's some of the great knowledge you build in your many years as a national championship coach on display before us.
Right there, right in front of everybody. I just can feel it when things like that are going to happen.
And the payoff pitch looped on the left side. Starr, the shortstop. And Thermos able to escape the jam. Tigers strand 2, lead 2-1 after 3.
Third.
Cagle now with 27 strikeouts on the year in 26 in the third innings. First pitch in the top half of the fourth inning stays outside for ball number 1 to Lexi Brady, the Ole Miss catcher. One of those 6 strikeout victims her first time up. 1-1 the count. Suddenly the sun that was shining brightly goes behind a cloud.
It sure did.
And it changes the look of things on the field below.
That was a nice pitch right there.
Froze Brady. And Cagle once again ahead in the count on an Ole Miss batter. Brady began this ball game hitting .278, homer and 4 batted in. Ole Miss, a team that over their first 11 games, just 8 home runs. Tigers in their first 9, able to leave the park 11 times. Throw to first to make it official. It's strikeout number 7, the second time that Brady's gone down on strikes.
Yep, you saw that. She got her to chase one down. But you got to understand when that hitter makes a decision to offer at it, that ball is really right in the zone. Cagle's drop ball, when it falls, it falls.
Delaney Rummel first pitch swinging. Rummel beginning this game third on her team, 438. Grounded back to Cagle. Who got her by a step on a good throw in the second inning.
There's that chorus of umpires right behind home plate.
Yeah, the locals wanted a different call, but the count evens up at 1-1. Rummel, the Illinois transfer out of Gilbert's, Illinois, rips down the left field line, just foul.
Just missed the double.
Rummel just 1 extra base hit so far this year. With 1 double on the season. Ole Miss will be anxious to eventually play back home in Oxford. They've been road warriors playing in Hawaii, Georgia, now in the upstate of South Carolina.
Well, going to Hawaii sounds like it's a wonderful trip, but I can tell you from experience, because I've done it, going over there puts a lot of stress and strain on a ball club. It's a long way over there and a long way back.
Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 8. 2 up, 2 down, both on strikeouts here in the 4th.
And Coach Trexel was telling us, as you see right here, Cagle just get that one right by her, that Ole Miss lost some of their luggage in transport to Hawaii. And that's no fun when you get to a town and your luggage don't.
Eventually arrived in paradise, but it was really a nightmare journey, and especially on the way back, where it took them something like 12 hours, she said, just to get back. They ended up just staying in Atlanta. They were going to land, go home to Oxford, then come back to the Atlanta area for the event at Kennesaw State, but they just ended up staying there. 0-1 the count on the designated player, Ainsley Furbush, and she's in an 0-2 hole. 4th inning, 8 strikeouts already for the Tigers starter, Valerie Cagle.
Yeah. That's 2 an inning, folks, and that's pretty good. This is just a beautiful setting for softball.
Just getting a piece is Furbush. Really a great ballpark, wonderful facility.
Yes.
5 years old is this Clemson program. They opened up in this McWhorter Stadium, and it's got great, really sight lines from anywhere in the stands. Plus you have the knoll out there behind left field and left center field. Again, an 0-2 pitch and just outside.
And what's really great from up where we sit, you can see out across from center field. There's a lake, and then right on the other side of the lake there's the Clemson Mint, the football building.
Yes. You kind of see it there in left center if you're not familiar with the campus. I've not heard it referred to as that, but by gosh, maybe they'll put that in the hopper and it'll become part of the vernacular.
Well, that's just the way it is in college, big-time college football these days. No, it's a great, wonderful facility that they have here to support the football program.
2-2 the count.
She hit her leg. I don't know if you saw that. She actually got that ball actually swiped her leg on a release.
And that's Cagle losing control. You don't see that often.
No, she's probably wanting to know how that happened.
Tiger, 5th-year senior out of Yorktown, Pennsylvania. She was here for the first season. And she issues her 2nd walk of the contest, a 2-out base runner for the Rebels.
She's going to be mad at herself about that. She let that bat get away from her.
So McKay reached on an error on the 3rd baseman Brown to lead off the 3rd. It came home with the only run to this point for Ole Miss. Fouling it away. In their first game of the day, their 2-1 win against UConn. McKay had an RBI single, then scored the go-ahead run in a 2-run 4th inning to provide the difference in that win.
Yeah, when you hear about teams like UConn and Miami of Ohio in softball, you may not realize that you're actually talking about 2 very good programs. I mean, Miami of Ohio, they made the tournament a year ago. They were 9-0 coming to town, and UConn just missed it a year ago. These are 4 quality programs that the fans will get exposed to this weekend here.
Taylor Malvin now running at first in place of Furbush, and McKay takes ball 1 to even the count.
As the late Skip Carey used to say, the natives are getting restless with the home plate umpire.
Cagle's 1-1. That stays low. Malvin on the move, throw down, got her.
That's what Vieira brings to the table right there.
Garcia, Tigers right fielder, to lead things off in the home 4th.
Yeah, the bat and ball teams are doing well for the Clemson area in the early going. A couple of top 10 teams.
Whole lot going on with baseball having its series. This Clemson Classic going on. Number of games we played in this ballpark tomorrow. Not all of them involving Clemson. And we're back here Sunday to wrap it up. And other spring sports also with home contests on the weekend.
Do they have basketball at home this weekend, or are they traveling?
CW Network game for the men at 7:45 on Saturday evening against the Florida State Seminoles. Brad Brownell's team trying to get win number 19 and get to 2 games over 500 in the ACC. And the Tiger women's basketball team at home in Littlejohn on Sunday afternoon. 3-0 the count on the leadoff hitter here in the 4th.
So what you're saying is everybody that works in events at Clemson University have got a busy weekend.
Gymnastics and also lacrosse. The hat you just saw will probably make an appearance at several of those events.
Yes.
Taking 3-0 and the count goes 3-1.
I got a very fast education about the gentleman with the hat. In year 1 here, there was a gentleman sitting down the third baseline, or beside the third base dugout. He had a hat on, and they caught a photo of him. I mean, a frame of him. He was up dancing during one of the timeouts or something. and I said, "Look at that cat in the hat." You know.
Yeah.
I actually got a message to say, "Hey, he was wearing a hat, but Mr. Such and said he is the hat." So I don't talk about hats no more when I come into this ballpark.
He is the hat.
Yeah,
that is for sure.
But you got to love fans like that, though.
Absolutely. He's a loyal one. Garcia, who reached on a hit by a pitch in the 2nd inning, leads off the 4th with a free pass. The Thermos getting a chance to take a breath as Aaliyah Logaleo, who flied out to deep center field.
Looked like we got a change, making a pitching change. Yep. She started 3 games on the year for the Rebels. She's got a 2.55 ERA. She's won 1. She's lost 1. Struck out 11 in 11 innings. And she has 6 walks to go with it. And opponents are hitting a 227 against her. Let's see what the Tigers do.
Aaliyah Logaleo, first pitch swinging into right field. 5th hit in the game for the Tigers. Logaleo gets her first, and Clemson has him on 1st and 2nd to start things out of the home 4th.
All right, that was a very nice job of going with the pitch. Did not try to do more than you could with it. Firm line drive out to right field. Hit so sharply the runner had no chance of going 1st to 3rd. But what you do have now is 2 on and nobody out. And you got Ariel Oda up, and she could very well bunt the ball right here. But she's been swinging the bat awfully well. They may just let her go at it.
Reached on an error with 2 outs and a runner on 3rd on the shortstop Star. And the Tigers' 2-run 2nd inning. That enabled Vieira to come home from 3rd. And give the Tigers at the time a 2-0 lead.
Yep.
Big opportunity to deliver here for a player who had a 2-run homer in the game at Charlotte on Wednesday. Showing bunt and fouling it away.
There again, she was trying to base hit bunt as opposed to sack bunting, or she was trying to wait very late to sack bunt. Did not stay squared up enough to get the bunt down, and now she finds herself buried in a 0-2 hole. It may still work out, but we were talking about it, I think, perhaps off air. Bunting has become a lost art.
0-2 pitch. Stays outside. Riley coming in, opposing hitters hitting .227 against her. 6 free passes in her 11 innings of work. But as you noted, 11 strikeouts,
yes.
11 innings, and that's a big part of what she does. And she delivers a 1-2. And the count evens.
She'd love to have a strikeout right here. I know that. And Oda's trying to work herself back into the at-bat.
Oda, a 6-year Tiger from Buford, Georgia, just outside of Atlanta. 2-2. And the count goes full, so good job coming back from the 0-2 count.
Oda got a better set of eyes than I do. I'd have swung. Let's see what they do with the base runners here. I don't think they'll be going. But you've got a left-handed hitter in there.
Payoff pitch. Chopper third, left side rather. Nice job by Starr to dive and knock it down. Keep it in the infield, but the bags are full and still nobody out.
And that's one thing that John Rittman told us in our pregame visit about Ariel Oda. She just finds a way to stay in the lineup. Got buried in the count, 0-2, worked her way back, and then she hits a ball just in a perfect spot. If you're not going to get out of the ball, out of the infield, that ball, all the shortstop could do was just smother the thing. Starr had no other choice, and now the bases are full with the top of the order coming up. And if you're a Tiger fan right now, you're wanting to bust this thing open.
Inning began with the leadoff walk to Garcia. Mogaleo greeted the pitcher Riley with a first pitch single to right. And now second in the inning by Ariel Oda. Tigers with 6 so far. Big opportunity. Top of the order, Alex Brown has singled and also grounded out to first base unassisted.
Infield in.
Taking ball one, got away from the catcher Brady, but not far enough.
Yeah, she was a bit lethargic on that. Right now with bases full, you want to keep that ball in front of you.
Around 6 runs batted in the early stages of her Clemson career. Junior from Savannah, Georgia. A second-team All-ACC player at North Carolina last year, and she'll get an RBI.
That's one way of scoring a run. Get hit in the head with a pitch.
Second Tiger hit by a pitch in the game. This time it is costly for Ole Miss.
No damage done. Did it get her on the? I got her on the arm. I thought it got her helmet.
Garcia comes across with the third run of the game for Clemson. 3-1 will be another visit to the mound. And for Brown, that is RBI number 7 on the year. Big opportunity for Mackenzie Clark, who singled her last time up, was left stranded at third in the home third inning. And she takes outside, ball one.
It would mean a lot on the scoreboard for the Tigers, but it would also mean a lot to the psyche of Clark if she could get a ball in the gap right here. Like I said, she's a player who can, when she gets going, she can really carry a club.
5 batted in on the season. Looper down the left side.
Just foul. Yep. Everybody knows that Cagle can carry a club, but you know the one problem that Valerie Cagle faces is so few teams will pitch to her with any kind of real commitment. But with her being in the on deck circle, she's going to get Mackenzie Clark pitches to hit.
Mackenzie Clark had been the leadoff hitter for the Tigers, but she's flipped places with Brown this season. Nobody out in the bags full of Tigers in the home fourth. Couldn't get Clark to chase. 2-1 the count. You know, over the last couple of years, you think of the power that's left this order. Marissa Gumbarter a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Last year, the departures of Jacobson and Miklish. Jacobson especially providing some pop. So Clark among those who they will count on to provide the long ball. 2 homers so far this year. Little looper beyond the reach of Starr. It'll score 1. Bags will remain loaded. RBI single for Mackenzie Clark, and the Tigers get a second run in the inning and extend the lead to 4-1.
She benefited from the infield being in, and she got enough of it. It was a little bit off the handle of the bat, but it floated over the shortstop head. 1 run scored, bases loaded, nobody out, and the reigning National Player of the Year is in the batter's box. This is not a good part of town to live in if you're from Oxford, Mississippi.
Tigers a chance to blow this game open. Valerie Cagle 0 for 2. Ground out to the pitcher and grounded her second or last time up in the 3rd inning.
I don't think you'll see a Barry Bonds moment here where you intentionally walk somebody with the bases loaded, but you better be careful with her.
1 homer, 3 batted in as the game began. The Tigers pitcher hit well on the left side. Was well foul.
Yeah, she saw it well. She hit that one hard, but was a little bit behind it, and it faded off foul down the left field line. I guess actually that would be a hook, not a fade.
No, she's sitting from the left side. So that's, yeah, that's a fade.
That's a fade, yeah. For her, yeah.
Yep. 1-1 pitch. 2-1 the count.
We cover all sports here.
I was going to say, we give it the clubhouse leaderboard as well. Tigers looking to increase their position on the leaderboard, building a 4-1 advantage here in the home 4th inning. Riley in a full-blown mess on in relief of Clee Thermos. And the 2-1 pitch. Stays outside, 3-1.
That was a pretty good pitch right there. She's not getting anything the tight calls because she's not been consistent. She's been a little bit everywhere around the zone. That was a pretty good pitch.
3-1. Crushed off the glove of the second baseman De Leon. It'll score 1. A second runner waved. Here comes Clark. The throw. She's out.
Good job of Ole Miss staying with the play right there.
So it'll be a 2-run double for Cagle.
Cagle laces a 2-run double. John Rittman, being extra aggressive, tried to score the runner from first base. Ole Miss, to their credit, they stuck with the plan. They hit the relay and was able to nail the runner at the plate.
It was nearly a snag by De Leon. Then the gapper, the center fielder Laster, did a good job to get over there. And a bullet throw to Brady. And the tag applied.
That was closer than it looked.
Give Cagle 5 batted in on the season now. First pitch swinging, liner in the left field, off the bat of Noller. Cagle will hold up at third, and the freshman Noller coming through.
Good job of hitting right there. I'll tell you what's cool. If you're Valerie Cagle, I mean, she's not even looking at John Rittman down at third base. She says, I'm going to go from second to third, and I'm going to stop right there. If I get a chance to score, I'll score in a minute, but I'm not rounding that back.
Yeah, no reason to. Second double on the year, by the way, for Cagle to get those 2 home. Still just 1 out in the inning. Tigers now with runners on first and third. They're going to go to the bench.
Got a pinch runner coming in at first base.
Tigers will use Julia Baumhart as the runner for Noller. Opportunity now to do further damage for Maddie Moore. Has singled and reached on a walk. You see Baumhart.
Yep. This is her forte, is base running. She's done a great job during her time here at Clemson doing just this.
So far this season, 1 for 1 in stolen base tries. She's on the move. Brady will keep in her back pocket with Cagle at third. The Tigers now second and third and still just 1 away.
Yep. If the game is not already broken open, the game can be broken open right now with a base hit.
Moore second on the team with 8 batted in. Looking to get her first ribeye of the day. And it stays low, 2-0 the count.
Want to remind our viewers that in the sport of softball, if you've got an 8-run lead after 5 innings, the game is over. And I think that might have helped John Rittman make his decision about trying to score.
When you noted how aggressive he was, and that's ripped right to the third baseman, throw to second for the double play. Great job by Delaney Rubble, and she was able to whip it to De Leon. 5-4 in the double play, but the Tigers strike for 4 more and lead 6-1. As Mackenzie Clark was thrown out of the plate on that play. But getting back to what you were saying, I can understand why John Rittman thinking try to blow the game open. You've got more games to play in the next couple of days, and it'd be good to try to shorten this game up.
Every inning your pitcher doesn't have to pitch.
Jamie McKay leads things off in the top half of the 5th, deflected by Cagle. Up with it, on to first, safe. Ogaleo, a little bit off balance on the throw. See if they scored an infield single for McKay, but she's a leadoff runner on here in the Ole Miss 5th inning.
No, she was safe.
Yeah, just beat the throw.
The ball was nearing the mitt, but it was not in the mitt.
Angelina De Leon, who almost snagged the liner hit over her head by Cagle, which really would have changed that 4th inning for Clemson. They are going to take a look on that grounder. They have scored it a hit for McKay.
And I suspect it will stay that way. Now we got a deflection right there off of Cagle's glove that ended up with a single right here. So we got a lot of stuff going on.
De Leon, the second baseman, one of 8 to strike out against Cagle, who's allowed a run on now 2 hits against Ole Miss, but has been stellar otherwise with those 8 strikeouts. And the run against her unearned as McKay reached on the error. Looper into right field. Holding up was the base runner McKay, but ball bobbled in right field. They might have had a chance for a force at second.
May have had a chance, but the base runner had to freeze because there was a great chance that the second baseman may have caught that ball, but it dumped down, and now the Rebels have got something going with nobody out. And the 9-hole coming up.
Ole Miss looking to respond. Starr, the shortstop.
And we're going to see a pinch hitter right here.
She was a batter due up.
The pinch hitter is going to be number 8.
It'll be
Annie Orman. Orman's going to hit for Starr. And Orman on the year hitting .294. She's driven in 4 runs. So I think that Coach Traxel must think that she may have something going here because she's using a pretty good pinch hitter right here in this spot.
Junior out of Myrtle, Miss. Appeared in their game last Saturday against Kennesaw State. She went 1 for 4.
I didn't even know there was a Myrtle, Mississippi.
Never heard of it. Little chopper on the left side. Brown looked at second, throws to first, low throw, and a good job by Noller to scoop it for out number 1.
Yep. That was a
third now.
That was an out. Great job of damage control. I thought they might could have went to second and got a shot at a double play, but they went ahead and got the sure out. That's what you want to do when you're up 5 runs late in the game, and I would consider the 5th inning later in the game, I guess, not late.
Could be a big moment in the game for Jayla Lassiter, leadoff hitter, 1 for 2. Singled her last time up in the 3rd, was left stranded at second. She went down swinging against Cagle to lead things off in the 1st.
And this is the 3rd time through the order now for a good Ole Miss hitting ball club. So we'll just have to see what transpires. But right now, Cagle is under stress for the first time in the game.
2-0 the count. Lassiter began the game hitting .400 on the season, a homer, and 11 batted in, second on their team in the RBI category. She has one of their 3 hits. Little chopper in front of home plate. Cagle looking to run her back. Gets out number 2.
There's another part of Valerie Cagle that you don't get a chance to talk about enough. She's one cool customer. Did you see how she took all of her time, fielded the ball, froze the runner at 3rd, and then threw a seed to first base for the out? That, my friends, is a softball player.
And she's great at really avoiding hard contact as Pone, one of their top hitters, stands in. 0 for 1 of the game. Walked and was left stranded in the 3rd. In their first game of the day, their 2-1 win against UConn, she went 0 for 2 with a walk. So she's shown pretty good judgment at the plate as far as the strike zone goes. Count evens at 1-1. Looking to come through. She is well over 400 hitter after transferring in from Longwood. Just 4 batted in though so far for Jaden Pone from just outside of Charlotte, and the count goes 2-1.
It would mean a world to the Tigers and to Valerie Cagle to get this out and get out of it.
Two-1. Did she go? Field to third, no, says Christopher Tehanika, third base umpire.
Don't want to nibble too much. You don't want to put yourself back into a mess. What do you do right here with Pone, Pete? I mean, she's
first base is open.
First base is open, and she's hitting .457.
Right back to Cagle, and she'll get out of the jam. Ole Miss had him second and third with just 1 away. Cagle escapes the UConn team.
Exactly right. And I don't know if they were going to get a shot or not, but Malvin stayed in the game and now playing left field for the Rebels.
And a new pitcher for the Rebels as well. So there's Taylor Malvin, who came on to pinch run in that last inning. And the new hurler in the circle, Brianna Lopez, for the Ole Miss team.
Yep. And on the year, Miss Lopez has got a 1.11 ERA, 1-0, only pitched 6 1/3. Don't want to read too much one way or another into her, but she does have 7 strikeouts, but she's got 4 walks to go with it too. So, but it's got to be a great opportunity for her to gain experience playing against a high-level team.
Vieira on the ground out to short for out number 1. Another Californian on this Ole Miss team.
Well, California traditionally is the home base of college softball prospects. It's been that way forever. But amazingly, you have California, you have Texas, and then the next 2 states to really be the targeting for recruiting now is the state of Georgia and the state of Florida.
I was going to guess those 2. Lindsey Garcia walked and scored in the Tigers' 4-run 4th inning. She's also reached on a hit by pitch.
You know, Pete, in my research, Idaho didn't make the list.
Not the softball hotbed you would expect.
No. And Maine was not really big on that. And just a little something for the people at home.
Yeah, there was a time when Maine baseball was really good.
Yes, it was.
And in 1991 had to go up there to win a regional to get to Omaha in baseball. Left-hander Lopez delivers. Ball 2.
On the flip side of that, though, South Carolina and Georgia and Florida don't have many hockey players.
You don't see too many folks nestled up to their TV when the NHL draft is on, looking for the local kid to his name called.
Not really.
It's 2-2.
And I love to go watch. I love to watch hockey in person.
Now you live in an area that's been a 2-time NHL loser.
The
Flames and then the Thrashers.
Yeah. And we're proud of it.
Swing and a miss. Good pitch by Lopez to record the first strikeout in the game for Ole Miss pitching.
Yeah, I don't think Atlanta will be getting a franchise anytime soon again.
They've moved way down on the list.
They even lost their minor league club. The Atlanta Knights were there right before the Thrashers came back.
And then they do have the Gladiators, though. They play out there on the north side of town at that arena right next to the California Dreaming.
Yeah.
2 up and 2 down in the Tigers' 5th inning.
Do you earmark all of your arenas based upon the restaurants that are right by?
Yes, that's usually a key landmark. And really, level of restaurant doesn't come into play. It could be your typical fast food place.
Yeah.
It could be a mom and pop pizza.
Yeah. Where can we eat? Where can we eat?
Exactly. Logaleo, Tigers shortstop, who made a really nice play defensively as Ole Miss was threatening in their half of the 5th inning, has flied out to center, also singled and scored in the 4th.
I mean, if you're trying to give an out-of-towner, let's see here. Logaleo takes outside. If you're trying to give an out-of-towner directions in Atlanta, one of the first questions you may ask him is, do you know where the varsity is at?
That's true. That's a center point. Let's face it, technology has taken away that great custom of a great folk way of Americana, in that no one has to ask for directions anymore because they ask a computer.
Yeah.
I used to love to give directions.
Oh, yeah.
I thought whenever anyone asked me for directions, it's like, you have come to the right place.
Yes.
I chance it because, again, I'm going to give you landmarks that are pretty easy to see. It'll be a restaurant, or usually be a restaurant, but I thought really one of my hidden talents was giving directions.
You know, I heard that about you.
That's and that's self-proclaimed. No one ever told me that.
Well,
2-2 pitch stays outside.
It must have been you that told me that then. So
perhaps.
Yeah. I always like the feeling of knowing something they don't.
That's true.
Like, you're dependent on me, aren't you? I know where to go and you don't.
Yeah. And I'm still, of course, I drive my wife with a wall. I'm still the guy who refuses to use the
GPS.
The GPS thing. Yeah. I'll figure out where I'm going.
Yeah.
And a 2-out walk for Aaliyah Logaleo, with Ariel Oda coming up.
If nothing else, that's going to allow you to flip the lineup.
third free pass issued in the game by Ole Miss pitching. John Rittman having a conversation with the home plate umpire John West.
You're going to see somebody run for Logaleo, I think. Let's see. Yeah, they're running. Yeah, Oda's going to hit for herself.
And we will get the pinch runner. The Tigers will call on Kylie Johnson,
Yep.
a freshman. So Johnson, the pinch runner, is 1 for 1 stolen base tries. Ariel Oda has a single. He's also reached on an error, bunting with 2 outs. That goes foul as Johnson was on the move. Having a good week.
Yep. Ariel Oda just finds a way to be productive.
Good batter to have in that 9-hole because she does have the ability to get on base. Runner on the move, throw down, tag, safe. I think De Leon, the second baseman, would disagree, but Tigers now with a runner in scoring position and 2 away.
That was a bang-banger. Let's see.
And Ole Miss will ask for the review. The throw clearly beat the runner Johnson.
That right hand may have been in there, though. That was awfully close. Now with a base hit, Oda could score a run. And this is what the Tigers need to work on, getting that base knocked with 2 outs.
Oda 4 batted in so far this season. A couple coming home on the 2-run homers she hit in Charlotte on Wednesday. Lopez started off the inning well, inducing a ground out and getting a strikeout. She's on relief of Riley, who came on in place of the starter Cleve Thermos, who's on the hook for her first loss of the year after starting 4-0. 2-2 the count.
Call was a little bit late for the liking of the home crew.
I've noticed out of John West there have been some delayed strike calls here this afternoon now into the early evening. 2-2 pitch. Count goes full. Runner on the move and a swipe of the bag. So 2 stolen bases in the inning for Kylie Johnson. She's 3 for 3 in her young Clemson career.
That's an interesting play right there to make with but she got a huge jump.
With 2 away, you might not have expected her to try to swipe third.
Because you think she could score anyway if anything gets through.
And a 2-out walk. Back-to-back walks with 2 away.
That's something you didn't want to have occur.
Lopez had issued 4 walks in 6 1/3 innings before really 7 full innings before she allowed the free pass to Logaleo.
Brown would represent the winning run if something spectacular were to happen.
Top of the order for Alex Brown. Like she was showing bunt. Takes strike 1. Brown reaching on a hit by pitch her last time up. Has also grounded out to first. Led off the bottom of the first inning with a single, but then was cut down on the double play, grounded into by Mackenzie Clark. And she falls behind the count here, 0-2.
Now right here is a perfect time for Oda to go. Because even if she goes and she's eventually thrown out, you'd have the top of the order coming up in the next half inning.
Oda has not attempted a stolen base so far this season. The runner at first goes halfway, tries to draw the throw. Keeping an eye on the runner Johnson at third. Oda trying to dive back in, but applying the tag, Paige Smith. And caught stealing for Clemson to close things out in the home 5th inning. Tigers have a 6-1 lead on softball sometime in the 90s, right around the turn of the century.
Mid-90s.
Yep. So the first ever meeting, and Clemson team trying to win its home opener here in 2024. Cagle, good work so far, and she starts out Paige Smith with a fastball for strike 1 here in the 6th. Smith 0 for 2, ground out to third, and 1 of 8 to go down on strikes against the Tigers starter.
Yeah, the 5th inning was the first inning that Cagle didn't record a strikeout. I believe I'm right.
That is correct. And in fact, she had at least 2 in each of the first 4 innings.
First 4, yeah.
She's walked a couple and allowed an unearned run on 3 hits. 2-1 the count on Smith, the first baseman out of Corona, California. Brown, nice job on a tough play at third, and coming down with it on the throw across. Noller for out number 1.
She stayed with it. Good job of the first baseman.
Noller at 5'9", needing to use
all of it.
That height.
Yeah.
Lexi Brady has gone down on strikes in her 2 plate appearances. Takes ball 1.
Sioux Falls.
South Dakotan, went to O'Gorman High School. And .312 a year ago. .558 slugging percentage. 4 home runs, topping this Ole Miss team. I wonder how a player from South Dakota ends up down in Oxford, Mississippi, but we told you Jamie Trexel, the head coach, a longtime coach at North Dakota State, also spent time at Iowa and Minnesota, so from that neck of the woods, no doubt has some recruiting contacts up that way.
And there's probably a lot of athletes that live up there that would love to come down here to play their softball.
(2-1) and a snag at first by Noller. Nice play by the freshman. She's really flashed some good glove.
Yeah.
We talked about her at the top about her hitting, but boy, the Tigers have a solid defensive player over at first.
That was a good play right there. Comes over and gives a hand slap to Cagle. Cagle probably said, "Hey, just get back over there. I got her to pop it up."
I mean, really, Ole Miss could have 2 runners on right now had it not been for the good defense so far by the freshman first baseman Noller.
Absolutely.
Delaney Rummel has grounded out to Cagle and also went down swinging against the Tigers starter. Cagle trying to get to 3-1. 5th-year senior for the Tigers. That one a little bit too hot to handle for Noller. See if they ruled a base hit.
It should be a base hit. That ball was hit firmly. And Noller had to leave her feet. We'll see what they say.
Rummel on with her first hit of the game. It'll be the 4th for the Ole Miss team.
That ball was hit so firmly, I think that Noller actually saved a double because of where the right fielder was being played. Garcia was kind of cheating, pinching up toward center field.
First hit on the day for Rummel, who went over 3 in their game against UConn. Going to get a pinch hitter for the Ole Miss team.
Trying to get a number quickly as I can. Yeah.
And it looks like they have it's Ainsley Furbush. But that doesn't make sense since she was.
I think maybe perhaps she's been re-entered.
Well, here's what happened. Yeah, so Taylor Malvin had come on to pinch run for her.
Yeah, she's been re-entered.
And so Furbush re-enters, having reached on a walk and then being taken down for the pinch runner Malvin in the 4th inning. Malvin stayed on in left field. Furbush beginning the day as a designated player. She was actually listed on the lineup as a shortstop, but they flipped her with Starr. That stays low, and the count goes 3-1.
Tell you what, on both sides, I will say this, and it's been consistent, but the corners are becoming smaller and smaller. But the only thing you ask out of an umpire is consistency.
And a 3rd walk issued by Valerie Cagle. So Ole Miss, after Cagle retired the first 2 batters here in the 6th inning, with something going 1st and 2nd with 2 away.
But if you're Valerie Cagle, you got to think about the game a little differently now. You're 4 outs away from a win. That's what you got. That's how you need to slow things down. Think about this now. And the only thing that your team cannot help you with is balls that leave the park and ball 4.
Yep.
So you need to throw strikes down in the zone. Well, you know, right now, I guarantee you John Rittman would give up a run for an out.
Jamie McKay has one of the Ole Miss hits for them so far. She singled and was left stranded at third in the 5th inning. Again, you've got to get fewer outs than the number of runs you're ahead.
That's correct. That's what I mean.
Yeah, and it's a late game philosophy. I don't think it's talked about enough in either baseball or softball when you're at the point where you don't need to worry about what the scoreboard says, because you know that.
All you want to do now is land the plane.
Yeah. McKay reaching on an error back in the 3rd inning and has scored their lone run in an inning of defensive gems. Cagle reaches out to close out the Ole Miss 6th inning. What a snag. Puts a smile on her face after maybe a moment of fear.
Yeah,
wow.
That's not a smile. That's a look of complete fear. See, about right.
Sometimes the ball just finds you. In that case, finding her glove. Brown was at the plate when Oda was thrown out to end the Tigers' 5th inning. Clemson was threatening to add on to this 5-run advantage that they've held since the 4th. Brown reaching on a single and a hit by pitch. Has scored one of the 6 Clemson runs. Came across in that 4-run 4th inning. On to work a 2nd inning in relief out of the Ole Miss bullpen, Brianna Lopez. Looking to bunt for a base hit. First baseman, quick throw, and a bad one. It'll put Brown on second. De Leon came over to cover. Smith, though, a little bit too strong, I believe, on the throw.
Yeah,
let's see how they scored.
Kind of threw it into the runner a little bit. It was a bang-bang thing.
Here's another look.
Right here, you see she gets the bunt down good, running down the pathway, and actually the ball went off the base runner's hand.
And they will credit Brown with the infield hit.
And I guess it'd be an error on the throw to go to second.
Got to think the fact that she got to second has to be ruled an error, but who do you probably have to give the error to Smith, the first baseman who made the throw, because but it's not as if De Leon dropped it.
But it was just bad luck, though, because it hit the runner.
Yep. Second hit in the game for Brown, who now stands at second as a leadoff hitter in the inning. Mackenzie Clark, a couple of singles. And she gets ahead in the count 2-0. They still haven't put a second error up for Ole Miss. And Clark looking to move the runner. Tiger team trying to get to 8-2 to start the season. Of course, their trip to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and bad weather taking out some opportunities to play down there. Still, overall, John Rittman says it was a great trip. A lot of new players on the roster, so one of those good team bonding trips. They went zip lining.
Yeah.
While they were down there, which I don't know if I'd ever put my toe in that water.
Well, I'm still just trying to get my mind's eye of John Rittman on a zip line. And I'd like to know really how taut the line was before and then after he zipped.
He tells us that he did it. Didn't he tell us that he
did? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He told us that. We don't have visual, any kind of video evidence, nor do we have any eyewitnesses at this time. At least none that we've been able to interview. 2-2 the count on the Tigers center fielder.
To give the viewers context, John Rittman and I have known each other for 35 years.
Yes.
And he took great exception to me questioning several things during our discussion.
Yeah. Great guy, and a guy who is even greater to take the various verbal barbs that come from you.
As Johnny Ballgame right there for everybody to see. He got angry when I told him I thought he was taking steroids because his arms looked so big.
Clark laying off. First and second now. Third free pass issued by Lopez.
Well, now this is interesting. A home run here sends us home, Pete.
Valerie Cagle delivered a big hitter last time up, a 2-run double with the bases loaded in the 4th inning. Clark was thrown out trying to score from first on the play. That gave the Tigers the 6-1 lead they currently enjoy. Cagle now 5 batted in on the season. The double was her second early on in this 2024 campaign. Strike one pitch.
Oh,
Speed and a good pitch by Lopez.
that was a good pitch. Cagle's heart may have not started back beating yet since that ball she had to catch.
She closed out the top half of the 6th inning with drama on a hard liner hit right back to her, just to her left, and she reached out and pulled it in. A swing and a miss, and she goes down on 3 pitches here for out number 1.
That's very rare to see an at bat like that.
Second strikeout since coming on in relief for Lopez.
Coach Rittman asking to have a quick talk to with his young first baseman. Probably just to settle down and be aware of what you're doing. Don't try to hit a home run, just hit a line drive and see what happens.
Noller, the Tiger leader in home runs with 3, runs batted in with 12. Her first game here at McWhorter Stadium in the Tigers home opener.
Yeah.
Fort Myers, Florida.
You've already noted she hit a home run in her first collegiate at bat. Wouldn't it be great for her to get a home run in her first collegiate home game?
This is a hitter's ballpark, at least that's my impression of it.
Yes, it is.
Now the wind can be a factor,
yes,
but it's died down as it does in the evening here.
It has definitely died down. It was the wind was a factor when this game started, and in the earlier games today, it was definitely a factor.
Had been blowing pretty strong at about 11 miles an hour from right field toward left center field. 2-0 pitch, 3-0 on the freshman first baseman.
And as you can see now plainly, either the wind is not blowing at all or it's blowing straight down.
Yeah, exactly. The flag pulls out there and a little bit right of center field. And back-to-back walks to load them up. Tigers knocking on the door of a walkout here in the home 6th inning. Bases loaded and just 1 away.
Right now, all things being equal, Maddie Moore would love to get one in the gap. And you also tell Maddie Moore, do not go to second base unless you absolutely know you can make it.
So those consecutive walks around the strikeout of Cagle load them up. Brown at third, Clark at second, Noller now at first.
And there's nobody throwing down in the Ole Miss bullpen, so this is her game. I mean, she's out there for better or worse now. And sometimes that's a very lonely feeling.
Moore with a single and a run scored. She also hit a laser.
Yes, she did.
The third baseman Romelu turned it into a double play.
And we've
closed
seen
out the Tigers' fourth.
We've seen some slick fielding by both teams.
Rebels have turned a couple of twin killings in this game. They'd obviously love to get a third right here. That stays high, and the count goes 3-0 on yet another batter. No place to put her.
Yeah, if you're John Rittman, you tell Maddie Moore right now, if you take a swing at this pitch, you're off the team. Because she's thrown 7 consecutive. This is not a time to come out, but and Maddie Moore well ahead in the count, 3-0.
Saw Jamie Traxel, her team, off to the program's best start, 10-1 with a win earlier today against UConn. .30 catches the outside corner.
That was old automatic right there.
Moore against Lopez, Californian against Californian, and a 3-1 pitch. Ball 4. And an RBI for Moore.
Now it's very simple. Unless the ball leaves the park, you tell Matty Moore on a base hit, get to second base and don't move. You tell Vieira the same thing, run straight through first base, don't make a problem. Let these runners at second and third score. Everybody goes through and gives the other team high fives.
9th batted in on the year for Moore. As Brown comes across. Bases remain loaded. Abby Vieira got the scoring going for the Tigers with an RBI single back in the 2nd inning. She was able to plate Moore and later came around and scored. It's also popped out to the shortstop and also grounded out 6-3. 1-1 the count.
It's been a solid day's work for the Tigers. They have they've played against a very, very game and good ball club in Ole Miss, and they've taken care of their business to this point.
Stays high, 2-1. 7-1 our score. Of course, the run rule very much on the verge of being employed here.
Yep. And you just got to feel a little bit for Brianna Lopez out there on the mound. Now, if you're Ole Miss, please understand, you can't. You would think they could not afford to burn up another pitcher, knowing they've got to come and play tomorrow. But right here is a perfect example of being in such a. And there it is.
And a fair ball down the left field line. It'll score 1, it'll score 2, and that'll do it. Tigers will walk him off on Abby Vieira's game-winning 2-run double.
And she laced that ball right down the third base line. There was nothing that anyone could do about it. Rummels had no